JJ, we are at the end of the journey of the Skywalker saga. I'm a little sad that we're here, but also very excited. But can you talk to me about the biggest writing challenge picking up right after The Last Jedi for you guys?
Well, it was, we knew from the beginning, before I even called Chris Terrio to ask if he would do it with me. I was a huge fan of Argo, and
Me too.
I'd read a number of scripts that he'd written that I was just blown away. He wrote these amazing, really brilliantly written, muscular scenes, and I just was such a fan. But before I even called him, I was like, this is going to be so hard.
Right.
The challenge is going to be crazy. And calling Chris was a bit of a, I know I'm going to need someone, who, not just a great writer, but a lover of Star Wars who will be with me every step. When we started working on this, it was looking at not just Last Jedi, but all 8 films that preceded this. And because I'd had a lot of conversations with Larry Kasdan on Force Awakens about where the story might go, and much of what we had sort of generally talked about was still, possible and still felt like the right direction, it was really about looking at everything that we inherited and saying, what do we want to see? What makes us laugh and scream and cry, and what feels right? And so it was really just doing the best we could for ourselves to, not try and check boxes and say these are the things that we must do, but what are things that we feel the story needs to do, and knowing going into it that we're certainly never going to please everyone. But if we're not being true to ourselves, then it's never going to work.
Now, Star Wars is in our blood, both of our bloods, you and I. Are you as a kid, were you a blaster guy or a lightsaber guy?
Well, I never felt cool enough to wield either. I certainly felt like I was Luke, and the reason I say that is that Luke wasn't too good with the saber when he first picked it up either. I could never be as cool as Han, and when I think of a blaster, you just think of him and his blaster, and I feel like, the beauty of Star Wars for me was that feeling of like the most average, everyday person among us could be the most important person to defeat the biggest, force of opposition and oppression. So I just feel like, I guess I would say, in the fantasy version, saber, but I just like being in that world.
Now, at Comic-Con, I spoke with Marcus and McFeely from the Captain America and the Avengers movies, and they said that the character, if they were to do a DC character, it would be Superman. I know there's been a lot of rumors about you helming the DC universe or even doing Superman. Is there an actual realistic possibility that you would either direct or produce Superman?
I have not had one official conversation with Warner's at all about this, but people have asked me this question, and I know that because Bad Robot recently signed a deal with Warner Media, we will begin in earnest all discussions about what's coming next. But I know no more than you do about what's next, certainly in terms of DC.